Hi guys, and a very good morning. My name is SUELEQA, and welcome to our show. This is the Foodie Science Show, and I hope everyone is having a great day and a great time because today we are going to talk about something really interesting. It is something that you and I would eat every day. Not every day, but most of the days, and it's one of the staple food around the world. Very simple actually. So why not you guys just chillax, kick back and relax and just listen to our show as we go through how it's made, the process, the benefits, and many more about this certain food. So, have you guessed what we are talking about already? Let me just give you a hint. It's something to do with fermentation, and it tastes really good when it's fried. Have you guessed it yet? Well, if you guessed tempeh, that's right. We are going to talk about tempeh today. So, what is tempeh actually? Do you guys know that tempeh is originated from Indonesia? Yeah, it's an Indonesian food made from fermented soybeans. There's a lot of food that actually go through the process of fermentation, like miso, kimchi, and salt, and many more. But tempeh is Indonesia's number one staple food. It is made from a natural culturing and controlled fermentation process, which binds the soybean into a cake-like look. That's why when you get the tempeh, it's in like a tiny white pouch that looks like a cake slice. Yeah. So it's actually a fungus and it is used in the fermentation process, also known as a tempeh starter. So with this fungus, it starts the whole fermentation process. The fungus is called, I'm not going to get this right. I know this fungus is really hard to pronounce, so I'll try my best. It is called the Rhizophorus oligoporus or the Rhizophorus orzea. That's the fungus name. I think I just totally butchered it. But that it is. That is how tempeh goes through the fermentation process. So I'm just going to jump right into it with my other friends on the other side, waiting so eagerly to explain to you guys what are the benefits of tempeh, how the principle of microorganism works in tempeh, how it's produced. By knowing how it's produced, it's actually really easy to make. So you just have to wait until you see the part where it's produced and then you can make it yourself. And what the tempeh is, and many more other information. So, who are my friends? You might be thinking, who are my friends? You don't want to be introduced to a bunch of strangers. So, my friends are me, SUELEQA, Amir, FAIZAL, INTAN, AINA, and GUHAN. So all of us are going to talk about tempeh today. So let's get right into it.
Hi, my name is Muhammad AMIRUDDIN, PA21097. So, I and my friends, we are gonna be hosting the Food Science Show. So, without further ado, let's start. So, have you ever wondered the process of microbial fermentation in food? So, in Southeast Asian region, especially in Indonesia, there's one food that has been fermented for decades ago. It is the tempeh. Yes, the tempeh. So, what is tempeh made of? So, tempeh is made of the seed of the glycine max, which is a soybean, which one of the most important source of protein human consume worldwide. So it is traditionally has been manufactured in central Java, Indonesia, as a well-known traditional dish. Fermented soybean has been spread to Malaysia and Indonesia throughout time. So the process of microbial fermentation can minimize the cooking time, improve the nutritional content of soy, increase bioactive components such as vitamins and phytoestrogens, and make soy more digestible by eliminating the trypsin inhibitors. Tempeh has a solid texture and a flavor reminiscent of mushroom. Can also be utilized in such ways in soups, salads, and more. So it has been manufactured majority in Indonesia in a small-scale operation that employ the traditional method of production based on the Badan Standarisasi Nasional recorded in 2012 that it is projected that 81,000 tempeh manufacturers annually generate 2.4 million tons of tempeh. That is a huge amount. So due to its low cost, the tempeh the Indonesian people consume tempeh as a substitution for meat. Initially, it was considered a low-class food in comparison to other protein foods, example eggs, fish, and meat. In contrast, attitudes towards tempeh have evolved over the past 4 decades. It is widely consumed as a low-cost, nutrient-rich cuisine by people of many socioeconomic groups, both in rural and urban. So Indonesians have relied on tempeh as a protein source for hundreds of years, and the reasons behind it is fascinating. So people in Indonesia think that daily consumption of fermented soy food aids the prevention of chronic diseases and improvement of health. It is showed in studies by Mukherjee et al. The fermented soy-based foods are a rich source of protein and phytonutrients, including isoflavones, making them a good source of nutrition and health benefits. Consumption of soybeans and fermented soybean products has been associated with numerous health benefits, including reducing risk of ischemic stroke, lower cholesterol level, which in turn reduce the incidence of atherosclerosis. In the same time, phytochemicals from soybean have also been shown to be effective against numerous types of cancer, including breast, prostate, colorectal, ovarian, and endometrial cancer. So that's all for my part.
So that was Amir telling us what tempeh is about. I gave a brief explanation of what tempeh is, but Amir gave us an in-depth introduction about what tempeh actually is. And it's so amazing, right? So what is the principle of tempeh? You might be thinking what the principle of tempeh is, but worry not. I have my friend FAIZAL waiting to tell you guys all about the principle of tempeh. You get a lot of benefits from it. So just stay tuned and wait for FAIZAL to tell you guys what the principles of tempeh is.
Hey guys, what's up? So to continue this food science show, once again, I am Muhammad FAIZAL and I will tell you what is the principle of microorganism and the product, which is tempeh. In a nutshell, tempeh is a traditional fermented food made from soaked and cooked soybeans inoculated with a mold, usually of the genus Rhizopus. After fermentation has occurred, the soybeans are bound together into a compact cake by dense cottony mycelium, and boom, it becomes tempeh. Okay, first, let me have a look to the real tempeh that I have bought this morning at the market. In here, we can see the tempeh is covered by a layer of mold known as mycelium. This layer is originally white in color and can darken with time as the mold matures and become ready to make spores like this picture. So, tempeh is usually made from soybeans that are fermented by bacteria and fungi. The principal step in making tempeh is the fermentation of soybeans, which undergo inoculation with Rhizopus saprophytic molds, a type of filamentous fungus most widely used for the production of tempeh. A fermentation starter containing the spores of fungus Rhizopus oliscosporus or rhizophus oryzae is mixed in. The beans are spread into a thin layer and are allowed to ferment for 24 to 36 hours at a temperature around 30 degrees Celsius. The soybeans have a cool down to allow spore germination and abundant growth of mycelium. Later, the temperature of the beans will naturally rise and rapid mold growth happen for around 4 hours. As mold growth declines, the soybeans should be bound into a solid mass by the mycelium. In good tempeh, the beans are knitted together by a mat of this white mycelium. Typically, tempeh is harvested after 48 hours of fermentation with its distinguishable whitish color, firm texture, and the nutty flavor. During the fermentation process, optimal time of fermentation, temperature, oxygen, humidity, and pH levels are required to encourage the growth of the rhizophus mold while discouraging the growth of undesired microorganisms. The pH level should be kept around 3 to 5 by adding a mild acidulant such as vinegar, lactic acid, or acetic acid, and thereby favoring mold growth and restricting the growth of spoilage microorganisms. Oxygen is required for rhizophus saprophytic growth, but should be maintained at low levels to prevent the production of undesired microorganisms. Under conditions of lower temperature or high ventilation, gray or black patches of spores may form on the surface. This is not harmful and should not affect the flavor or quality. This sporation is normal on fully mature tempeh. A mild ammonia smell may accompany good tempeh as it ferments, but it should not be overpowering. And basically, the factors that affect of tempeh fermentation is first, the yeast. Yeast is a substance that causes fermentation. The microorganisms used in yeast are typically a mix of bacteria and fungi. That is the yeast and molds. Secondly, the temperature. During the fermentation process, temperature greatly determines the type of microorganisms dominant to grow. Generally, a temperature of about 20 to 30 degrees Celsius is required for growth of microorganisms. If the temperature is too low, fermentation will occur slowly, and if the temperature is too high, mold will die and the fermentation process will not occur. Third is the oxygen. The availability of oxygen must be regulated during the fermentation process. This matter related to the nature of the microorganism used. Example of yeast in wine and bread making usually requires oxygen during the process of fermentation take place. While for acid-producing bacteria, it does not require oxygen during the fermentation process. For the degree of acidity or pH, one of the most important factors during the fermentation process is the degree of acidity. Usually, bacteria can grow at pH 4 to 8, and yeast usually prefer a pH of 3 to 6, while most are in pH 3 to 7. And last but not least, the substrate. Substrate is a raw material for fermentation that contains nutrients needed by microbes to grow and produce product fermentation. Nutrients most needed by good microbes to grow as well as to produce fermentation products are carbohydrates. Carbohydrate is a source of carbon that serves as a producer of energy for microbes, while other nutrients such as protein are needed in smaller amounts than carbohydrates. That's all from me. Tempe.
Thank you so much for the explanation, Faizal. So right now, you might be thinking about how tempeh is made. Honestly, to me, I feel tempeh is easy to make. I mean, not so easy, but I feel like it's on the level of moderate to make tempeh. It's not that tough if we actually think about it, but worry not. I'm pretty sure you might be wondering how to make tempeh, but my friend Intan is going to show you guys and explain to you guys how tempeh is made and the process of the tempeh on how long it takes and so on. And I'm telling you, it is not hard at all to make tempeh. I've tried it and it came out perfectly. You might not believe me perfectly, but I tried it twice. The first one was an epic failure, and the second time it came out perfect. So obviously you have to do trial and error to get the tempeh right. And I got it on my second try. So now our friend Intan is going to tell you how tempeh is made.
Okay guys, now I will tell you how to make tempeh. You don't have to worry because making tempeh is very easy. It's using only 3 ingredients, which are the dry soybeans, vinegar, and tempeh starter. And now I will explain how to make tempeh from 100% soy. First thing first, you have to have the soybeans. If you don't have the soybean, you cannot make a tempeh. So after you have the soybean, you have to clean the soybean because if the soybean didn't clean, it will grow the wrong type of fungus. The second step of the making tempeh is soaking and dehydrating soybean. Soak the soybean in 2 liters water for 6 until 18 hours, then dehydrate the beans. The hulls of soybeans need to be removed for the spores to include the beans. To remove soybean hulls, there are 2 different methods, which are dry method and wet method. Okay, now I will explain what is dry method and what is wet method. Dry method is easily to dehull soybean by using a grain mill or meat grinder. After soaking the soybeans, put them through the grinder on the corset setting. If the soybean coming out too fine, mean the grinder doesn't well for split the soybeans in half. Once the beans are split, put them in water so that the hulls float. Massage the bean to loosen up all the hulls, then drain off the floating hulls. For the wet methods, after boiling the soybeans, massage the beans so that the hulls fall off and the beans split in half. The hulls will float to the top, then drain off the floating hulls. For this method, you have to do it repeatedly, so it's making you to work hard for this method. For the third step, we have to cook the soybeans. Put the soybeans in the cooking pot and cover them with enough water. Add the vinegar and cook for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, drain off the water and dry the soybeans by continue heating them in the pot on medium heat for a few minutes and until the beans are dry. Then cool down the soybean to below 35 degrees Celsius. Then for the fourth step, inoculating the soybeans with tempeh starter. Sprinkle 1 teaspoon of tempeh starter to the soybeans. Mix the ingredients evenly using a clean spoon for about 1 minute. It's very important to mix the tempeh starter very well because it reduces the risk for spoilage and the fermentation will be faster. For the last step is incubating the beans. Divide the soybeans into 2 plastic bags that have been punctured with holes at distance 1 cm with a thick needle and then seal them. Press them flat, making sure that total thickness is maximum 3 cm. Place the packed beans in incubator at 30 degrees Celsius or warm place for about 36 until 48 hours during which the tempeh fermentation takes place. Then the container should be filled with the mycelium and the entire contents can be lifted out as a wall piece. That's our 5 steps of making a tempeh. Now you have know how to make a tempeh, right? So I hope you enjoy the homemaking of tempeh and the eating of it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Intan, for the explanation on how tempeh is made. See, I told you guys, tempeh is not that hard to make. So I tried it. I know you can try it too. And I'm pretty sure after the first try, it will be great. And you can make it very often because, as we all know, tempeh is actually, we eat it like a side dish beside our main dish. So our main dish usually consists of rice or a noodle broth, and we have the tempeh on the side. And tempeh can actually be made in various ways. One of the favorite way I like to eat tempeh is by frying the tempeh in spices. You coat it with spices and deep fry it in oil, and the crunch is amazing while eating tempeh and rice. But there's many other ways to eat tempeh too, and how it should be eaten, and how people from Indonesia tried eating it first and how it started from them towards all around the whole world. So right now, my friend Aina is going to tell you more about it and show you how to actually eat it in the right way and how it was eaten by the people in Indonesia during the start and how it came to Malaysia and how we started eating it. Because as far as I know, I can eat tempeh with everything, honestly, because it's that good. And the best part about tempeh is it's actually good for your digestion, you know that? So let's just get on to Aina. Aina, take it away.
So for application of tempeh, tempeh is used for disease treatment. So one portion of tempeh has a high fiber content. So this fiber is required for a healthy digestive system and the prevention of future chronic disorder. So the protein that contained in tempeh is beneficial to diabetic individuals, especially who frequently have issues with animal protein sources. So tempeh's protein and fiber can also help to reduce blood sugar spike and maintain our blood sugar level stable. We must know that tempeh is easily digestible, so it is an excellent diet for those who have difficulties digesting high protein food originating from plants such as bean. It is because of the enzyme generated by the yeast that have previously digested nutrient in soybean seed. So this soybean in a tempeh will become softer throughout the fermentation process. So actually, tempeh generating fungus arises first in phytase enzyme that digests phytate. So it is also improving mineral absorption of zinc, iron, and calcium. So the fermentation process also decrease the oligosaccharide content of soys, which is making it tough to digest. So according to the research before, it is stated that tempeh does not induce bloating. So the second one is tempeh is widely used for food dishes. So tempeh is widely applied throughout the culinary scene, which is the world's most powerful plant-based source of nutrient, which is vitamin B12. So it has the same amount of protein as beef, especially in Indonesia. Each individual consumes 7 kilos of tempeh per year, which is it is eaten with a variety of tofu's, veggies, rice, sambal, or seafood. Tempeh can be deep fried or pan fried, buttered, stir fried, grilled, steamed, boiled, or cooked with number of methods. So tempeh is also quickly become a beloved plant-based dish, but it is also add to salad, noodles, tacos, sandwich, and stew, or meat with a spice and marinate to make a tempeh bacon or tempeh burgers, for example. And the last one is Tempe is used for skin treatment. So the Tempe is a raw substance which is used in body beauty treatment. So it is a polyphenol concentration can be a source of natural antioxidant and help prevent the skin from premature aging. So the Tempe contain substance that brighten the skin and act as anti-photoaging agents. So it is also observed that applying a Tempe mask to the skin surface has the impact of softening, whitening, and hydrating our skin. So there's a lot of version of tempeh. For example, tempeh gembus, which this tempeh is prepared from soy palm or tofu drag, which is soft and fluffy. Second one is tempeh semangit. Tempeh semangit is an over fermented tempeh with a strong odor and a darker look. And the last one is tempeh murni. So this tempeh is a pure soybean cake, which is tempeh is wrapped in a plastic wrap with no filling or no additions, like a shake raw papaya. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Aina, for the amazing explanation. You were so elaborate and super easy to understand. It was so easy for me to understand. And I'm pretty sure our audience will understand it as well. So right now you might be thinking, what are the benefits of tempeh? What is so good about tempeh and why does everyone love it so much? Because as we all know, every single thing in this world has its own benefits and speciality. Even me as a human, I have my own speciality, which is I like track and field. I love being so introvert and talking to people, and so do many other people. But what is so great about tempeh? What is the benefit tempeh gives you? Because I know, I'm being honest and super frank right now. Right after eating tempeh, I run to the toilet. I don't literally run to the toilet, but after it gets digested, I straight go to the toilet because it's so good for my digestion. And how about you guys? I'm pretty sure all of you want to know that. For those who have never tried tempeh, this would be the perfect time for you to try it after my friend GUHAN tells you all about the benefits about tempeh and what is so special about tempeh. So, GUHAN, continue to explain to them what the benefits are.
Hi guys, I'm SELLVA GUHAN and I would like to talk about the benefits of tempeh. So as you see, tempeh is a soy-based food, sometimes used as an alternative to meat. It's popular with vegans and vegetarians because it has vitamin B12 and it is a complete source of protein. That means it has all 9 of the essential amino acids of your body need for healthy bones and muscles. But it's not just for people who don't eat meat. Tempeh is a healthy way to add more plant-based food to almost any diet. So let's see the type of tempehs. Tempeh typically comes from soybeans, but you can also make it from other kinds of beans. You can buy it seasoned or mixed with other grains like rice, wheat or barley. Tempeh has no cholesterol and it's a good way to get vitamin B, fiber, iron, calcium and other minerals. A 3-ounce serving of tempeh has 160 calories, 18 grams of protein, 5 grams of fat, 10 grams of carbohydrates, 28% of your daily fiber, 6% of your calcium and 10% of your daily iron. Let us look another benefits of tempeh. Like other soy foods, tempeh has isoflavones. These are chemicals called phytoestrogens that have cancer fighting and antioxidant properties. There is also evidence that soya products like tempeh may improve your cholesterol, lower your blood pressure, protect your heart, improve insulin resistance, lower inflammation, help relieve hot flashes from menopause, promote bone health. There's a lot of benefits we can get from tempeh. Tempeh usually doesn't cause bloating or gas. That makes it a good alternative to beans for people who have a digestive disorder like irritable bowel syndrome, which is called as IBS. Fermented soybeans may do a better job than unfermented soya when it comes to keeping type 2 diabetes from getting worse. But scientists need to do more testing of that idea in humans to know for sure. Children or teenagers who eat soy-based foods like tempeh in early life may see more health benefits later. Experts think that early exposure to soy may lower the risk of breast cancer. Even though there's lots of benefits from eating tempeh, but people who have soy allergy shouldn't eat tempeh, and it's better to avoid it. There is some concern that soy may affect how your thyroid works or how you absorb thyroid medication. To be safe, you should talk to your doctor about eating tempeh or soy products if you have a thyroid disorder.
Thank you so much, GUHAN, for explaining to all our friends here what the benefits of tempeh are. And I hope everyone learned something new today about what tempeh is or what the things contained inside tempeh. And I know I've learned a lot of things about tempeh throughout this whole journey. So I hope all of you guys watching here today get benefited from this talk show, the Foodie Science Show, of course. And let me just recap on everything that we got here today. So firstly was what tempeh is, and secondly, what are the principles of microorganism in tempeh, and then how it's produced, the application of tempeh, followed by lastly the benefit of tempeh. So I hope that everyone enjoyed our show today and got benefited from this, and I hope you guys share it around and have a lot of fun and get benefited, more knowledgeable every single day. And thank you so much. Bye guys.